Hello, and welcome back to the stream. I have, been away for the Coppice side of things for a while, and we are now back. So, hope you are all doing well. Hope everything sounds okay. I've had audio problems yet again, but we'll see how things go. You'll notice that the mouth is not moving, but yeah, I think we're going to have to wait until macOS 13 for that so that we can get a proper audio setup going. Anyway, so I've been off for a while. I did a stream on Wednesday where I did some work on the overlay to ease back in, but I took a week off from contract work and realized I needed to take a week off from streaming as well. So I have taken some time off, relaxed, rejuvenated, come back, and now I think I'm just about ready to do some more work on Coppice, hopefully. Assuming I don't get ill, which I may be doing, so we'll see. I may have caught a computer virus. Who knows? Anyway, how is everyone? Let me know in chat how you're doing, how your weekend's going, what you've been up to. But today we are going to be starting on the final road to getting Coppice 2022.2 out. I had hoped to have got most of this done, but you know, burnout gets in the way of everything. So what we're going to be doing is working on some of the last features of Coppice, which should be our drag linking. Unfortunately, I've completely forgotten where we got up to, so we will first be figuring that out, and then it will be getting all of our link stuff working, getting that finished. I've also added one additional feature to this version, which will be something to do. Actually, it's putting something in that will actually be useful because it's something I want to do for the next version, but we're getting it in sooner. And then it will be getting out to release stuff. So that is going to be the next few weeks of what we're doing, and hopefully by early October we'll get it out. I actually have on my schedule on my whiteboard, I have it set currently for the week of, starting the 1st of October. So that first week of October should hopefully be when we get to release. So we'll see how that goes. Anyway, let's head over to the conference room and start having a play around. So let's bring our font size up and let's see if we can remember where we got to. I can't remember whether I left myself any messages or not. It appears I did not. Okay. Well, it says the last thing that was implemented was link deletion. So we got that fully done. Let's build the app. It'd be nice when I can fully switch everything to what's called 14. Key bindings are what we want. Conflicts. No, it's not run I want to get rid of, it's you I want to get rid of. Okay, now let's try. Here we go, we're building. Okay, and we can select, we can click, we can delete. Fantastic. So what we want to be able to do is at the moment, you can click on there. You can command click to do that. Option click if you're in will do that. Control click will do that. Okay, what I'm going to do? Rectangle. What key do we want to be able to do this drag thing? I'm not entirely sure because we've already using command. We can't use option and we can't use control. Control would be the ideal scenario. Oh. I think someone's visiting the ship. Let's go and have a look. I also think that this thing is broken. Okay, so last stream following worked. Now raids are broken, but channel points work. Oh! I rebuild with the fix. You know, I'm not sure if I did. Oh well, we will have to figure it out. Eventually things will work, but not today. No yesterday, no the day before, no many of the days before that. And probably not tomorrow and many days in the future, but eventually things will work. I hope. Anyway, how is everyone? How was your stream, Kieran? Thank you for dropping by. How did things go finishing off? I had to drop out towards the end to get all this set up. Some bugs in the overlay. That explains why it broke. So yeah, I've just been getting caught up on where we were with Coppice and trying to work out what interaction I want to do. Because I want the user to be able to click and drag on a link and go to, like, when they click and drag, an arrow will... actually... Oh! Oh! I've just had two ideas. One is that I probably need like a light bulb thing for my bot for when I have brilliant ideas. But the second idea is this. So at the moment, if you click down, then what it will do is it will open the link. Now, if you click anywhere else, it selects and moves around. You click the open link. What if you just click and drag on the link? Like, we know you're over a link, so we can do a click. So if we just have it that we only actually open the link on mouse up, then we can do mouse down, and if you drag, then we start drawing an arrow, and then if you hover over... Okay, that's how we'll do it. We'll just do a simple click and drag. Anyway. Let's see, went through the different poses to see how much crunch you need to deal with next week, and it's not as much as you first thought. Pose library has helped out so much. Yep, the pose library is very useful. In fact, while you're here, let me show you something that I was working on last night in Unity. But yeah, I'm not too bad. Feeling semi-refreshed, but also like I may potentially be coming down with a cold that I hope I'm not. Could also just be allergies because I've been cleaning and there's been a lot of dust and stuff about. So if I open the overlay, yeah, I mean my niece is coming down with a cold. Well, she has a cold, but the thing is, I literally saw her like 2 hours ago, so that's not enough time for it to be me. I've been sneezing a bit and so on, so I'm starting on the anti-cold medicines. But yes. So I have this set up in Unity. Now, there are probably going to be better ways of setting this up, but we'll see. But I have a script set up for doing an idle. So if I just show you what the script looks like. This is what we may be doing some more on later today. So basically my movement controller, I now have stuff where I check this new animation manager, whether I can move. And I just keep track of, am I moving, and let the animation manager know. And the reason for that is that when movement stops, I mark myself as idling and set an idle timer. Now, at the moment, the idle time is just every 10 seconds. It will do a look down animation. So what does that actually look like? Well, if I press play, and you observe down here, you see that I'm bouncing up and down. And then after 10 seconds, so... And I can't move while that's going on. And if... Oh, I... does this sometimes. Yeah, sometimes it doesn't actually pick up. Let me just lock Pokebot there. Reference not set to necessary animation manager movements. No. Oh, is that? I mean, the animation manager should be set. Let's try this. Try that. Hopefully this will work. It. There we go. So I can move around and it won't actually fire off the timer because I am moving. But then I'll stop. And you wait 10 seconds. And it does it, and then I can't move. And then it goes back to idle. And it'll go to moving. But I can also do other stuff, such as if I trigger that, I'll look left. If I trigger that, I'll look right. I can look up. And I can wave. Okay, see you later, Kieran. Thanks for raiding and hope you have a good rest of your days. But yeah, so I've got all the animations in. I need to hook them up. I need to have it so that they will happen at a random interval and also do a random thing. And the thing they'll do will depend on what the current expression is. So there's a lot to do, but that is stuff to work on later. For now, we need to work out all of this. So yeah, we need, first thing I'm going to do is change opening a link to be on mouse up. If you were on a link when you mouse down, and you mouse up and it's the same link, then the same link on the same page, then we want to open a link. If you start dragging, what we will then do is we'll drag and then we'll have a special arrow that will come out from the page to your mouse cursor. So it would be like having a special page and it just goes around tracking your mouse cursor, and when you hover over a page, we will highlight it and maybe do something like link to over the page. So yeah, let's give that a go. So what we want is, I believe it is our select and move event context. Now what I'm tempted to do is actually move the linking out of this. Because, I mean, the link stuff is, it uses similar things, but there is a start point that we know, which is when the down event happens, are you over a link? And if you are over a link, then we can start doing all the link stuff. So yeah, I think we're going to create a new event context, which I don't think I've done. Oh no, we created the select link event context, but yeah. Most of the others I've only created when I first did Coppice, so we're getting a lot of new stuff done. Okay. So how are people's weekends going? Have you been up to much? Are you planning on doing anything with the rest of your weekend, or have you got anything exciting coming up in the week ahead? And before anyone worries, no, I will not be taking tomorrow off, even though it's a bank holiday in the UK. I will be streaming and getting some work done while the rest of the country is not. So I will still be here for your entertainment, whatever entertainment I can provide. You finished a giant assignment. Oh, congratulations, Sinister. Hopefully you get top marks in it. And hopefully you can get a bit of rest now. Time for sleep. Yes, getting all of that sleep in. Get the sleep in while you can, because eventually your body decides not to let you sleep properly. As happens with me. When my body decides, you know what? I'm going to wake you up at, well, I don't know what time I woke up this morning. Was it 6? Maybe in half 5, 6, and then I snoozed a bit. I want to get back to the time when I would just sleep like a rock. Like, it would take me a while to get to sleep, but then I would just sleep continuously until the morning. I miss those days. How about the component? I don't think we do. We do care about the link. It's going to be URL. Oh, that's a fair point. We don't actually care about the URL. What we care about, because it may not be a link that is being dragged. Oh. That may change things a bit. Because the thing is, if you are in here, then clicking and dragging, that we can do. If you're in here, clicking and dragging lets you drag the text. Do we want it something different there? So there's a question of, you can click a link, but should you be able to drag when the page is not selected? I don't think so, because what we can do at the moment, you have command click does that, but what we can also do, actually, we could do, you select and then you command drag. If you command drag on a link or you command drag on some selected text, then that will start. It's a question of whether we can intercept that. I mean, the other option is that we don't allow command dragging at all, and what you'll do is you do that, and then just like you can do command L, you could do command option L. Command option L. Because command L is link, and you could do command option L, which would be link to existing page, and when you do that, then that lets you bring up the thing, because then it's an alternate. It's not create a link down there, it's creating a link here. Yeah. So that way you're creating a link. We're not doing anything fancy. It's just you go over command option L and then link, or command L, and you can enter the page in here. Okay, yeah, I think that will probably be the best way of doing it, because then we don't even need a new event. We do sort of need a new event context. I think. But it's going to be a moved context. I mean, in a way, it's probably better for accessibility as well, because you can do command option L to bring it up and then move your mouse around, and then you click on the page rather than having to click and hold. So, alright, how are we going to do this? Because it's sort of a hover thing, so you update item on the mouse. We still want this. Update highlighted thing. Okay. See, this is where it would be very nice if I had a brain that was working. Unfortunately, mine has decided not to work. So, item under mouse. We want that because we want to know, is there a page under the mouse? Yeah, I think maybe because I've got a cup of tea. Let's have a sip and a thing. So what we want to do is it's almost a separate mode that we are creating. We are creating our like we're in a mode, and then what we want to do is when we're in that mode, we don't want to update the highlighted links. We just want to update a point, and we want to draw an arrow between that point. Okay. We have a harvest state. Link highlight. We have editability. I mean, this is the problem. If we did where you had to mouse down, drag, and up, we could create an event context and all that's there, and you don't need a mode. But if we don't do that, then you do need a mode. And the question is, how do you handle that mode? I think the way we need to handle it is just go for the simplest method. And then what we will do is if we need to add more modes in the future, then we can refactor it, make it better. But I think for now we just are going to have to suck it up and create this mode for linking. So because the move event is just updating the item onto the mouth. Okay, what we'll do here. Creation. Public. Start linking. Start linking from page. Because we're going to have a page. Basically tell the layout engine. Because you need to be editing a page for this to happen. Which, that's a fair point. We keep track of the currently editing page, don't we? Page being edited. Yeah, so it's always going to be on the page being edited. We can do start linking. What we need to do here is switch to linking, which will involve changing hover logic, drawing arrow on hover over page that is not page being edited. Highlight A. On mouse down. Oh. Oh. What if we had hover events? We've got mouse event contexts. We've got key event context. What if we had hover event context? And then the standard hover event context is what we have now. But then the next hover event context is going to be something else. And then what we can do is when the user clicks, we create a mouse event context, and it depends on the hover event context what the mouse event context is. That could be more elegant. So create hover event link hover event contact. Mouse down, create page, create link. Mouse contacts. Mouse up. Now page to create link to page with selected hotspot. Selected context. It should know what are we creating a link from. So what we need to do, if I update my to-do list over here, create hover event contacts. Let's move existing hover code, hover event contacts, new hover contacts, have context factory, hover context to determine what mouse context to take. Make create link event. Okay, I think that is a fairly good place. Let's have a look at our event context factory. Enter location. Key event context. Okay. So now I do realize that this will not necessarily work on iOS. That's something to consider. Thing is, hovering over links won't work on iOS either. No hovering over pages. Any hover will only work if you have the keyboard and trackpad attached. But maybe that's just something where when it comes to iOS, we redesign some things and we do some designing on, like, redesign some Mac stuff based on what we do for iOS. So who knows? For now though, we'll get this working. I don't see why we should limit ourselves based on a future iOS version. I think you've asked me what I think about the new iPhone. Honestly, like, iPhones don't interest me as much as like iPads and so on. That said, I think the iPhone 14 is not that interesting. Like, I was 50-50 before the event of whether I was going to actually get a new iPhone, because my 11 is still going strong. And I've decided not to because the actual 14 is just... It's a 13 with a slightly better camera and a slightly better processor. Now the 14 Pro is a different matter entirely. The 14 Pro is quite a massive upgrade over the 13 Pro. You get the dynamic island, which in terms of UI design is probably one of the best bits of UI that Apple has created in a long time. Jimmy Legit Abram, thank you for following. Okay, so that is weird. I don't get a raid message, but I get a follow message multiple times. Makes zero sense whatsoever. Twitch's API is a mess. Welcome to the stream. How are you doing? We're just doing some coding and having the chat about the new iPhones. But yes, so the 14 is kind of not that interesting to me because the 12 and 13 weren't that interesting. The 14 is not much of an upgrade. The 14 Pro though, you have the dynamic island, you have the A16 processor, you have the massively upgraded camera. So I think it's at a point where if the Pro is the phone you would go for, then I think 13 to 14 is actually one of the biggest leaps, and going from any other Pro to the 14 is an even bigger leap. But I don't go for the Pro because I don't use my iPhone enough to justify spending that much on an iPhone. I'd rather save the money and spend more on a better iPad or a better Mac or anything else. So what I'm hoping is that like the dynamic island will make its way down to the regular phone in the 15, because all the rumors have pointed to the 15 being the that would be the one that gets all the big changes, gets the big design change, such as USB-C. So hopefully it also gets dynamic island, and then that will probably be what I get. Like, I'm almost certain, unless Apple does something absolutely terrible with the iPhone 15, I'm almost certainly going to get one. Because at that point, it's like, okay, I will upgrade. But it seems like the Pro is the only interesting thing to me. So you've had every iPhone and then normally underwhelm, but you would never change. Yeah, I mean, if you go from one iPhone to the very next iPhone, they're generally underwhelming. But if you think on the whole 2 to 4 year upgrade cycle that most people do, then you actually get fairly big leaps. If you look at, if you look at the iPhone 11, and then next year, it would probably be quite a big. It would probably be quite a big leap forward for me. But going from like an 11 to a 12, or a 12 to a 13, or a 13 to a 14, it's just not that big an upgrade. And like I said, the Pro is probably the biggest upgrade that we have had generation to generation for a few years now. Probably since, maybe even since the iPhone 10, probably. Like, just generation to generation, because you've got a far better camera, a better processor, and the new dynamic island. So yeah, I think it is quite a cool idea, and it's sort of, as other people have said, it's taken the disadvantage, which is the notch, which Apple simply can't get rid of at this point. Even though some cameras, they have their under-screen cameras and stuff like that, the problem there is that under-screen cameras have their downsides. Downsides to the screen, downsides to the camera, and you've got to sort of work around those. And I don't doubt Apple could work around them and make it really good. The big problem is Face ID. All the other sensors, like the infrared camera and so on, they don't really work behind the screen. So you just, there's no way around it. Apple needs a notch. So if they're going to have a notch, they may as well make it something that is actually a useful and fun bit of UI. It seems like the smart thing to do. And it's nice seeing Apple come up with something that seems genuinely to be good, well designed, and delightful UI that is useful. And that is what Apple used to excel at. And then they've sort of gone to a thing where they'll do something that like looks pretty but isn't very useful. Or they'll do something that's useful but doesn't necessarily look pretty. Usually more of the former than the latter. Yes, the satellite integration is very cool. I'm not outside of mobile coverage enough to where I would necessarily need that, but for people who are in places where you can lose satellite coverage, lose mobile coverage, and be in the middle of nowhere, it's a really cool feature because it's like adding this to an existing phone rather than having to buy something completely separate. Manage mass events. Want manage other event. Want private bar current other. It's not work, and the coding is going reasonably well. I'm currently in the process of rewriting how hovering works, which we've only literally just, if I took a break from streaming, was what we were also doing. South and then his modifiers. Update item mouse. Okay, so what we are going to create is good. What we do standard, hover event, basic. I think standard. If anyone could help you with something, yeah. Well, what do you need help with, Jimmy? RNG, you need to know the time between pressing the button and the result. So you need to basically time the code, like the time between the button is pressed and when the actual code that the button is actually invoking is finished. Oh, that's fairly easy to do. I'm assuming you're doing like iOS or Mac development. No, really, the basic thing is the same. Okay, so say this is what is called when the button is pressed, and you have your generate results. So you have your method when the button is pressed, and then you have your code that generates results, and you want to basically know how long does this take. So what you can do is let time equals date dot time interval since reference date, and let generation time equals date dot time interval since reference date minus time. And what that should do is this, I believe it's I believe it has time intervals in milliseconds, so it depends on which APIs you're using, but if you're using like Swift and so on, then you just get the time interval since the reference date here, which will basically give you the current timestamp. You generate the results, and then you get the timestamp again, and just take away the first timestamp. And then that is basically the difference between the two, and that should be how long it took to generate them. Now, it's not going to be absolute 100% if you're wanting the most precise measurement absolutely possible, then it's not going to work. You need it to work with Safari. Okay, so you would need to do I mean, the basic pattern is the same. I don't know off the top of my head how you get timestamp, but what you want to do is just get a timestamp as you would if you wanted to get like whatever the current date is. You get that, do your work, then do it again, like get the timestamp again after you've done the work and subtract the previous timestamp, and that should give you the difference. Most languages have the ability to do that. Timestamp. How to get the current timestamp in JavaScript. Okay, so I think in JavaScript it's date.now. So in JavaScript you'd probably no, there is less in JavaScript, isn't there? So if you did that, I believe that should work in JavaScript. I just can't remember whether you have let or if it has to be var in JavaScript. But either way, like I say, it's the same pattern. You get the current timestamp and then you do your work, and then you get the now current timestamp and subtract the first one to give you the delta between them. So hopefully that should work for you. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it's date.now in JavaScript. Right, so yeah, no worries. It's always happy to help people out with various bits of coding and such. That's code it. It's something that everyone at some point needs to be able to do some code, but you don't necessarily need to know how to build an entire app. So it's just learning these things. And as I always say, the difference between someone who is a great coder and someone who isn't how much coding knowledge they know. It's simply how much, like, do they know what to type into Google to find the answer? Like, how do you get the current timestamp in JavaScript? I didn't know. I just literally, this is what I did. I typed in JavaScript get timestamp now, and then I go here, and it says, okay, date.now, and you just find something. So programming is 99% knowing what to search online and piecing that all together. The other 1% is resisting the urge to throw your computer out the screen, out the window. Right, so we have this here. We're going to Layout engine. I think for the canvas layout engine, what we need to do. It's private. What we're going to do is make this private set. Such a hard urge to resist sometimes, especially when using Adobe products. Yeah, it can be. I mean, there are other products that make it even hard. Well, no. Yeah, it will be Adobe products. I was going to say there are some products that make it even harder, and then I was going to give the example of Figma, but Adobe's just bought Figma, so. Which, I mean, is certainly an interesting move, but I still do all my UI design and everything in Photoshop, so I'm old school like that. Yeah, it's one of those things where it doesn't really bother or affect me too much because I use Figma under protest. I'm not interested in Figma. I just have to use it for work sometimes. But it's like it's got cool collaboration features, but everything else is terrible. It is the point where like Figma going to Adobe is sort of like people think, oh, is Adobe going to ruin Figma? And they're just like, probably not, because they can't make it any worse than it already is. In fact, Adobe getting their hands on it will probably make it probably be an improvement, because at least Adobe gets a lot of the basic stuff right with their apps, even if a lot of the other stuff is, well, a mess. I don't think there's any risk of Adobe buying Blender. Blender's open source, so if Adobe tried to buy it, people would just fork the existing code and then continue developing it. So right, what am I doing? Got the current hover event context. I think what I'm going to do is equals standard hover event context. Like, make it not an optional because we don't need it to be an optional. That's that. Update highlighted links. That's determining wherever we show the background. We'll give that a try. Yeah, no worries. Hope it works out for you. Just one of those little things that you constantly, because I do it. There are all these tools for doing like performance testing, seeing, okay, how long is this code actually taking? But just sticking a get the timestamp before, get the timestamp after. What's the difference? Is often the fastest way of getting this all figuring all this out and like how long something takes. because then you don't need to remember how does this performance tool work again, because they are certainly not trivial to use. Right, I'm trying to figure out what parts I want to take out. Because item under mouse. See, this definitely would move out. Then we're updating the highlighted. Links in the highlight. Where are they? Oh, now we're just setting highlighted. What about jitter factor? What are you meaning by jitter factor, Jimmy? Where the numbers scramble through. Oh, for generating the random number. I mean, that should affect the timing of it. Like, if you're just timing how long the generation takes, that shouldn't really affect. I mean, it can do, but generally I think most random generator algorithms are designed that if you're generating of a particular size, it should take roughly the same amount of time. At least I would assume so for cryptographically secure ones, because otherwise that gives you a vector to potentially like find out it's not random enough. So yeah, I mean it will depend on the actual random algorithm, but I would assume that the algorithm is what is usually referred to as ON, or rather, basically, if you want a random number of a particular size, like in a particular range, so 2 should take 1 second, 3 should take 2 seconds. Yeah, I think it is a case where it should scale up, because it should be a case of if I want, I mean, so this is a slight problem. I mean, this is why you should never make assumptions about time and why you should always test it, because there are lots of things that can change. So the size of the random numbers can change. The random algorithm can change. because I mean, there's an old joke of generate random number, return return 5 generated by random dice roll. There, you've got a randomly generated number. So what a random, like, how you generate a random number, there are just many ways of doing it. And there's also some that are hardware accelerated. And then there's a question of, can you parallelize it? And if it's hardware accelerated, is there a limit on how much you can make it run in parallel? So Google RNG. Have a look. So by Google RNG, do you mean the Google Cloud RNG? That's random bits of information from them. Let's have a look. Okay, so doing that. Ooh. Yeah, I think it should depend on the range. Because I mean, the thing is that a lot of random number generator, I mean, well, I say a lot. Almost every random number generator is not random. They are all deterministic. It's just adding enough variables in there. Yeah, they're pseudo-random. So it's adding enough variables in there that you can pretty much treat them as random. There are cryptographically random things, which are a lot more secure, and a lot of algorithms do try to be cryptographically random. And in fact, ones that aren't are often vectors for cyber attacks and all stuff like that. So right, so I'm just having a think. Let's have a look here. Okay, just responded to you, Jimmy. Right, so let's have a look at so we have highlighted link. What? The problem is, if I move this out, I can't make them private. Now, the only reason I have these is to make it easier to fix the links the previous versions. Like to get rid of the old values. The thing is, what is like the highlighted links and the highlighted pages only make sense in terms of the actual layout. I think I will move these into the event context. The event context can handle it. The item under the mouse, that makes sense, being able to set. What does it? Because then that's going to change. Because the only thing that actually does this is we call it there. We call it when we update the highlighted links, and we set it there, and then show background. And all we need to do here is have a page where we like page that we're hovered over. Is it the page that we want to show the title of? Because we probably this is probably going to be reverted back to currently hovered page. Or we could call it page under mouse. Okay. So we've got our layout engine. Page the mouse. Page. This is going to be page under mouse. Okay, so that's all good. So then we want to move stuff here. So when this happens, we want to update the item under mouse. Which I don't think we actually need to save because it is immediately used, like it's only used here and it's immediately used elsewhere. Though we do, it is useful to know whether the it has changed. Well, let's just move all this stuff over. So what we'll do is we'll get the item under mouse at location. We're going to return a other state, and then all of these where it's after item mouse equals, going to change turn. Let's get rid of the else there. Get rid of the else everywhere. Want to do that. We can get rid of that because that is just a duplicate. With the var private var item mouse harvest state. So what we're going to do is let item equals item under mouse at location. Guard item is not equal to current item under mouse. Else done. Alright, so we don't care about that. You care about that bit, so we'll change that in a second. Notify of background page for half page and that. Page out and what is, come on. What bill? Just look in here. Okay, so it wasn't that. In here, that's causing it to currently building. Oh no, yeah, it was something in there is really messing up the compiler. Okay, let's get rid of that. Okay, so how am I actually doing that elsewhere? Okay, so that is canvas layout engine. Oh. So. Page mouse. Let's do that. Did that go over here? Get rid of that. Engine. Layout. Page into mouse. Out page. It is. Ooh. Hmm. Hmm. Curious. So I need to get rid of inside of here the inform of layout change. In this case, the links change. I think we do, but okay. Actually, public. Then what we do is yeah. Then we can go into here. That's going to be layout engine links changed. So what we are going to do highlight links in layout. And then we can do this. And then what I'm going to do is let highlighted be an array of link. Let page be layout engine page, and then what I can do is get rid of the self. Yeah. This is just going to be layout. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. That. We can do self.high highlighted page page and H there. That can be kept like so. This is the one that needs to change. In fact, what we can do is if highlighted page is not equal self.highlighted page, and stuff to highlight page is that. Well. Highlight links. Do that, which means I can get rid of that. I'm going to do the same thing here. If highlighted links is not equal to self.highlighted links, then self.highlighted link h $0.highlighted false. Otherwise, our new highlighted links true. Links and layout engine or layout.links changed. That can be changed down there. Item to mouse at location in layout. And now we're going to dive down here. That needs to be layout. Stuck again. That doesn't need to be public for one. Let's go into Canvas Layout Engine. Look on something. It really is getting stuck. Oh. It really doesn't like something. It highlighted things. That is certainly a fun compiler performance issue, though I am still using a beta version. So. They should do. Element. Engine really have I really not added a canvas engine? Why have I not exposed those? You'd think. Okay. I have no idea why they are not in here, but we will add them. Oh, actually. That is easy. Okay. After all that, I can now go to here, build and run, and hopefully we'll be able to see that everything works exactly as it did at the start of the stream. Yep. Yeah. If I turn that off. Okay, may not be. If you're hovering over stuff, it works fine. I bet I know. Actually, maybe not. Okay, go here. Got a page. Got a link. is happening? It's going page, we're doing link. But why is it not setting new value to nothing? But it's obviously changing it from nothing. You get the item and the mouse. That's in the page. Oh. Helps if we do that. No point checking an old variable has changed if the variable is never changed. There we go. Okay, so we are back to where we started. However, we now have the infrastructure in place to build the farm. So I think we'll work on that tomorrow. So I'll just get this committed. Make sure everything's in version control. Covering using push that up, and I'm going to take a very short break, and when we get back, let's play around with the overlay and see what we can come up with there. See what fun things we can do, getting all these idle animations and such working. So I will see you all in a few minutes. I'm just going to make myself another cup of tea, and when we get back, we'll work on the overlay. In the meantime, during the break, I will be running some ads just to get rid of those pesky pre-rolls for anyone coming in after the break. So feel free to go get your own drinks, go to the bathroom, or just stretch your legs, or just generally ignore them. It's working around Twitch, and I prefer to try and run ads when nobody has to pay attention to them. So hey ho, let's all have a bit of a break then. So I will see you all in a few minutes. Okay, I am back. Hope everyone had a good break. And before we get started, I want to show something that a friend of mine showed me. Now, for those of you who may not know, I am a rather big fan of Warhammer, both 40k and Age of Sigmar. I haven't played in quite a while and I haven't painted in a while, but I'm slowly getting back into it. Especially as there's a new army coming out, the Leagues of Votan. And somebody has come up with a colour scheme where I had an idea for the colour scheme that I wanted, but I may actually end up doing this one instead because it just looks so good. It is ridiculous how good this colour scheme looks. Someone's basically styled them like an old set of Lego called Ice Planet. So, I mean, let me see if I can find an image of all the stuff, all the new models. Yeah, unfortunately I can't see some central ones, but this is what people have, what someone has come up with, I believe on Reddit, and it's probably what I'm going to go with because this just looks way too good. It is the Lego Ice Planet colour scheme. We have like an orangey red with blue and grey and black. And to me, I think this may just be what someone has mocked up rather than actually painted stuff, but it looks so good. So yeah, I'm probably going to steal this for my own because I have stuff coming along just hopefully come next weekend, next Saturday. But yeah, I think this is what I was going to go for, because originally what I was going to go for, if you imagine mostly orange was going to be yellow and the blue was going to be purple, effectively. And maybe a lighter grey. So it's going to be light grey, purple, and yellow. But I think the orange and the blue, it just looks too good, honestly. With the yellow, or with the light grey and the black, I think I just have to go for this colour scheme. So, yeah, that is what I'm going to be doing. But first, we're going to be doing some work on this. So, what I want to do is, I've already got these animations in. Yeah, it almost looks Coppice. Now, what I'm probably going to use for it is I'll probably use GW's contrast paints, because they're very good, almost very thick inks in a sense. And I think some of those colours will be quite good for this. I mean, the other thing that it sort of inspires me of is where are we? It also makes me think of Ice Cap Zone. from Sonic. Which, I mean, is a pretty much similar color palette in a sense. So when you have Sonic there, you've got like the oranges and then all the blues. So it's like, I was going to go for purple because I already have blue, but it's sort of blue and gold in my Thousand Suns, and it's more of a bluey green, if that makes sense. Whereas this is more of a proper icy blue, which I just think with the orange it just goes so well. So yeah, I'm probably stealing that for my own things. So I mean, it also just looks good, like a fun thing to paint. So anyway, what we are doing is over here we have our animation manager. So what I want to do is we want to do some randomization on this. So we will we want this to be random, at a random time, but then we want this, like the actual thing that gets triggered, to be random. But it is going to depend on the expression as to what are valid, and certain ones will be far more likely than others. So we need to work out exactly what we're going to do there, because for example, just looking to one side is going to be a lot more likely than doing a wave. I feel like blue and orange are the best contrasting colours, then yellow and purple. Personally hate green and red. I'm sort of the same. Now it can depend on the green and the red, but in general, getting blue and orange to look good together is pretty easy. Getting getting purple and yellow to look good together is pretty easy. But green and red, just, I'd rather do, rather than like opposite ends of the colour wheel, as it were, you pick, like I'd do green and blue together, I'd do green and yellows, I'd do reds and purples and reds and oranges. I'd do it that way. Green and red are just so jarring. Now, if you have red with just a little bit of green, like if I was, I mean, let me see if I can find a good example. I think Blood Angels. Like here. It's almost entirely red, but you have green lenses. To me, that looks good. Like, if you have just a little bit, then it looks good. If you had like green on the base, it could look good. But it needs to, it's very hard to get right. I mean, if you look at this image here, you've got a Blood Angel and a Dark Angel. Now, to me, that looks good as a contrast because they are contrast, and you can see there are bits of red, like the lenses are red, and you've got red here on the kneecap and stuff. It looks okay, but I think the green on here looks better than the red on here because this is more of a blue green, whereas this is more of a yellow green, and I think a yellowy green works better with red, but it's just very hard to get green and red to work together. You've got to be a lot more careful with it. And I think part of it is because a lot of reds and a lot of greens are very bright. They're also generally very warm colours. Whereas on the other hand, blue is almost always a cool colour, whereas orange is almost always a warm colour. When you deal with purple and yellow, purple's kind of a weird one because it's both warm and not, which is probably a mix of it being it's blue and red. It is sort of almost neutral in its temperature, in a sense. It feels a little more on the warm side, but it's still got a lot of coolness in it, whereas yellow is very much a warm colour. Green and red are both warm. Now, green can be made cool if you head towards like bluish greens and teals and so on. Or teals, you're getting more blue than green at that point. But yeah, it's just you haven't got the temperature contrast, and you need to get the temperature contrast in there, or you've got to be very subtle in it, or you've got, as you say, it's oversaturated. You've got to use desaturated, because if you desaturate them, then they fit together a lot more. But yeah, 95% of my color theory comes from painting miniatures. That is how I get my color theory, and thinking not just about like complementary colors and stuff like that. It's thinking about the temperature of the colors and how you add the neutral tones and all stuff like that. Because when you get into temperatures, you can think about, how do I make white warm versus white cold? How do you make black warm versus cold? Which, when you're painting, you can do it. All depends on the highlights you do. It can be the exact same white and the exact same black, but the shading and the highlights that you apply to it really affect it. So right, so animator, set trigger. So first step is we want this to be random, and probably we don't want things to be going on too often, but I'd probably say somewhere between every 30 and 90 seconds. I mean, what we can do is we can set, if we do public, float, minimum idle event time equals 30th, and public float maximum idle event time equals 90th, so that we can tweak these. But we've got the idle time, but private float next idle event time. We'll just set that to 60 for now. But what we're going to do here is probably want private void reset idle. do this dot reset idle. I'm going to do this dot next idle event time equals math f dot random dot range, and then we'll do this dot minimum idle event time, this dot maximum idle event time. Okay. This set. This is less than idle event time. Okay. So if we let this reload. And let this play. Oh, it did that because the wave is active. So the next idle event time should be somewhere between 30 and 90 seconds. So we'll wait for that to go and think about what we want to do in terms of... So for all of our events, we're going to have all of these look. There's another look where they look around at the screen, but that is only going to happen when we're in presenting mode. So we're just going to leave these for now. And then we are going to have... We got idle, wave star, arms in. Where is my... Here we are. The wave is going to be an idle one. Scratch head can be an idle one. Smoke and sparks can be idle. Wipe eyes can be idle. Alright, so let's mark down things that can be idle. So, because almost all of these I want to be triggered, but this is going to be idle there. So this is idle for happy and plain. This is idle for confused. Idle for angry. Idle for no, I think breast pan. Ooh. Idle for worried. Idle for crying. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Excited jump. Idle for rise. And then the other one we have is head empty, which we don't want any idle for. So yeah, we're going to have a standard. Then we're going to have additional one for when you are here that's going to be thrown into the pool. And then each expression is going to have its own. And then there's going to be a bunch that can be manually triggered, but we're not going to deal with those just yet. So what that means is that when we get here, what we want to do is randomly select. I think I'm going to have expression manager. Yeah, I think what we want here is we're going to have the animation manager. So close a bunch of stuff. Right. It's not in there. It's not in there. Somewhere, I'm pretty sure I set up. No, right. What I'm just going to do is I'm just going to animation. Can create C# string. Public static read on. well, what we'll do, public static class animation static only string down equals up down. That's only string up equal up. And we can add the other things that we want. So we're going to have look at the screen, match head, for joy, bin head, flail, Mocha socks, big face, hands, eyes, jump, and item. So what we can do here is we can throw it. Actually, this probably wants LKey bot. What we want is for random equals random dot inch. And do 0. Now, the way we're going to do this is that look left, look right, and look up are all going to be let's say 3, 3, 3, 2, 1. So that'd be 9, 10, 12. So if it's less than 3, ratio equal to 3, and okay. Actually, have an idea. Private. Idle nations equals and do is poke about the animations dot up left. Oh, it's bring that. Okay, so it's new bring that. That. Okay, I'll do this. We'll add look left multiple times and look right times. Then look up multiple times. Look down twice. And then we're going to add expression. And then what we are going to do is var random index equals random dot range 0 to this dot idle animations dot length. Var animation equals this dot idle animation random index. If animation equals expression, then we'll do the expression one. Else, we'll just trigger the animation. I'm going to change this eventually because it would be nice to make these into actual classes that contain all the information, and then rather than it just being an enum that is set, it's something where we can just get whatever the current class is and pull out the offsets and any custom stuff. Yeah. Save. C-sharp's nice, but it's nothing on Swift. Because there's so many things that are kind of stuff like this. You've got the expressions and you've only got a fixed number of expressions that it could be, and yet it still says that you need to return at the end. It can't work that out. Right, so what we want is expression manager. What we can do is if an nation is well. Oh. Everyone's still there. Just had some weirdness happen with the stream. I have absolutely no idea what it has just gone on there, but my stream just didn't quite freeze, but something happened. Everything's going okay. Okay, I guess we're good. Okay. So here we can just do animation equals this dot action. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reduce the time down to between 10 and 20 seconds. And then hopefully what should happen when we run. Okay, we're bouncing. And then we should pick a random animation. Don't seem to be doing. Oh, wait. We looked up to the side. We're just bouncing idly. We're still doing, has it still configured it? Yeah, so let's, that would be why. It's doing it between 10 and 20 seconds. Okay, so we're looking left. So hopefully now these should go faster. We're looking left again. Hey, so welcome back. We're looking right. We're looking down. We're looking right. I'm looking left. Left. I think what I may do is add something in where it can't repeat the same one. Like if it has just performed an expression, then that one is no longer allowed. Like the next time it runs. I mean, bear in mind, there will be more of a delay, but I still think having something different. That's looked up 3 times in a row. I think the expression probably need. I mean, the other thing is having a list of things, and then it can just like delete things from the array as it does them, so that everything actually happens, and then when it becomes empty, it fills it up again. Curious to see if the wave will actually work at some point. While it is working through them. Want private string. Oh. Right, if animation equals this dot previous idle animation, then return next idle animation. Otherwise, this dot previous idle animation. And if animation is that, then we're going to that else return animation. Here we're just going to do var animation equal that next idle animation. Okay, so we got a wave, so that worked. Okay, so if I stop that, save this, if we go back to play, we'll select the Pokebot and we'll reduce this to between 5 and 10. Well, let's do 7 and 10. Let it do its initial animation. And then it should go through fairly quickly, but we shouldn't see any more duplicates. Problem is, I'm not going to be able to get these into the overlay until I get the faces back. So there is a question of whether I keep working on this and get this all working to a point where we can, where like all the facial stuff is done, all of the animations are done. We have the stuff where there is a presenting mode in, and then I update the overlay with the new Pokebot. Or there's a question of whether I just focus on the faces, get those back in, and then build a new overlay, and then we can fit stuff. Because most of these animations will work with any of the expressions, and it's the expressions that's the key thing. We can go without the animations, we can go without the presenting mode, but we need the faces in. But yeah, that seems to be working. So yeah, I think the next thing is probably to work on the faces and get those in so that I can start rebuilding the overlay again. So yep, we'll do that. Get started on that tomorrow. But yeah, I think for now that is pretty good. So I think what we'll do is we'll call stream there. Is anyone online? No. So we will call the stream there because I need to go and get some stuff done and do some relaxing. So we'll do that, and then tomorrow I will come on and we'll start doing some more of the actual drag linking for Coppice and try and get that done tomorrow, as well as working on the overlay. I don't know what time I'll be starting tomorrow. I may start a bit sooner and stream a bit longer. If I'm not doing the Saturday streams, it would be nice to actually do more on the Monday streams and make those longer. So I may be starting an hour earlier tomorrow, depends. But yeah, so I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day, rest of your weekend, and as always, till tomorrow, happy coding.